So we're looking at spelling, and in today's lesson, we're actually going to be looking at a few terms, a few terminology mainly, and it's homophones, prefixes, and suffixes. Now, a homophone is, do you know when you have two words and they sound the same, but they've got different meanings? Now, when you got something like new or new, so I have a new pair of shoes, or I knew that, so they've got the same sound, but they mean two different things. And then you can have sun and sun. Like yesterday, the sun was shining, and I can say, my son is watching TV. So same sound again, but one is talking about the sun in the sky, and the other one is talking about my child. And then you can also have steel or steel. That pipe is made of steel, or she is stealing. So steal and steal. Same sound again, but different meanings. So one is about somebody robbing something, another one is about the material of a pipe. So is that okay? So do you understand what homophones are? Yeah. Fantastic. Now, a prefix is a word or a letter that comes before another main word. So a main word might be something like honest. So if I wanted to put a prefix in front of it, I could say, she is honest. That's the main thing. That's the word. But if I put a prefix in front of honest and I do dis, so I do, she is dishonest. The dis, D-I-S part is a prefix. It's changed the whole meaning of the word. Then I could do, the children are behaved, are well behaved. Or I could put a prefix in front of it and change the word. So from behaved, I can change it into misbehaved by putting M-I-S. The M-I-S is the prefix, so misbehaved. And then I am feeling well. That's my root word, that's my main word. And if I put a prefix under it, before it, I would do, I am feeling unwell. So the UN is the prefix on that. And then the final one, suffixes. You'll come across this as well. Now this is letters. Now these letters are actually called morphemes. So these morphemes are added at the end of a word. So a prefix is at the beginning of a word and the suffix is at the end of the word. So I've got an example of this, a tooth. I can put L-E-S-S and change it into toothless. I've got move, I can change that into movement by doing an M-E-N-T at the end. That is a suffix. And I could do, say, girl, or I can say, so that girl is standing there. Or I could say, those girls are standing there. By adding the S, it changes it into a plural as well, but also into a suffix. So it's what is put at the end. Other examples are brain to brainy and friend to friendship. So that was just me explaining the few terms that you're going to come across today. So I've gone onto my blue screen now where it says functional skills. Can most of you see this?
Yes, because I can see it.
Fantastic. So the aims and outcomes for today. So by the end of this session, you should be aware of different spellings of homophones. So different words that have the same sound but different meanings. Understand how prefixes work. And understand how suffixes work. Please ignore that. And then know how to spell words with unstressed vowels. So these are, unstressed vowels is something that's normally silent. So you normally don't say it when you're saying the word, but we'll come across that. And for now, learners should not make errors that affect the meaning, because sometimes if you put an error on a word, if you spell it wrong, it changes the meaning of the word. And you could be able to know how to spell a selection of commonly misspelled words. But again, we'll be going through so. So what do you need to do? At level 2, you're expected to have mastered all the lower level skills. Your spelling should be accurate and you should include ambitious words. So you should have correct homophones, possessive nouns, trickier prefixes and suffixes, and so on with this. And also make sure that you don't make errors that affect the meaning of the word. So we're going to just go into video, and I know again we had issues playing the videos yesterday. So if it doesn't work, please in your own time go and log on to Moodle and please have a look at these two videos. They really are beneficial for your test when you do them. So I'm going to go quiet now.
Excuse me, it's not talking.
Yes, you won't be able to hear the. Sorry, let me just pause this. We've had an issue with the videos. Any videos that I've been playing on here, it doesn't show you the. You can't hear them. So I'm just putting this on so that when you look back at the recording, it'll be there. And also, I suggest that when you finish the lessons, please just go on and have a quick listen to these recordings because it will help you. But it's just showing you in this video now different words and the way we can spell them. She's put down anti-disestablishmentarianism, and she's going to split it up for you now.
Okay.
So this video, it was just telling you how to spell certain words, when to put double M's or double L's in. So it's a nice bit of rules of what to do when you're adding in prefixes. So please, it'll only take about 2-3 minutes to watch this video and 2-3 minutes for the next. But hearing it with audio is so much better than just seeing the words come out. So we've got some prefixes here. So prefixes are letters that are fixed at the front of a root word. Now the root word is the main word that you're changing or adjusting. So you need to be able to spell these accurately by putting the prefixes on, and you need to know what meaning it's going to change them onto. So from level 1, you'll know that il, im, in, non, and un all mean not. So that it's not happening, it's not going on. So here are some more. So you got auto, means again. So it's an example is automatic. You got infra, so infrastructure. You got bi, that'll turn into biathlon. Got micro, which means small, so microscope. You got circum, which means to measure around or go around. Then you got circumscribe. So tele will turn into telephone. Hyper changes to hyperactive. So you got active and then you put hyper in front of it, and you go hyperactive. And then trans will be put in front of Atlantic, which changes into transatlantic. So it gives you a good idea of how we can use the prefixes. So you've got a activity here. So we're going to look at the root words and look at what they actually mean. So you've got microbiology. Now the root word of this is biology, and the prefix is micro. Let me just get my little highlight out. So microbiology, root word is biology, and it is micro. So the microbiology means to study microorganisms. So it's more scientific here. You've got monotone. Root word is tone, prefix is mono. So monotone means a sound with unchanging pitch. Then you've got circumvent, which is your word. Then you've got vent is your root word. That's your main word here. And then you've got circum is your prefix, and it's to find a way around something. Then you've got autopilot. That's your main word now. That's the word it's been changed into. So you started off with pilot, and you put a prefix in front of it as auto. So a device to keep alive, or you might have an autopilot where you're in an aeroplane and you can go autopilot for some parts of the journey and so on. So we're going to look at suffixes now. So prefixes, remember, is those words those letters that you join on at the beginning of a word. Now, a suffix is what you join on at the end of a word. So it gives you suffixes, and it also sometimes can change it into plural. So again, with this video, you won't be able to hear it, but you'll be able to see what she's saying because it is all written out. So with audio, it really does make a lot more sense because she explains exactly what she's talking about, what the tips are for spelling, to add suffixes, and how to make them into plural words as well. So really, just have a couple of minutes after the lesson if you get a chance. Go and listen to those videos while this lesson is fresh in your head, and it really will give you a fantastic idea of what we're doing. So for suffixes, that's the lesson 1. Suffixes, again, just to recap, they're the letters that are fixed put on the back of a spelling, so at the end of a spelling. So from level 1, you should be able to know suffixes that you did that had the al, airy, ship, nus, ibble, abble, shun, and shun. From level 2 now, you'll be able to use these spellings that we're going to talk about now, and they'll help you make more complex words. So if you add the suffixes ickle, ush, shun, uns, and uns, helps you make more complex words. So now we've got these here. We've got delicious, delicious, and delicious. Now they all sound the same, but which shus should be on it? And we know it should be C-I-O-U-S because it just makes more sense. It's delicious. We're not doing the T-I-O-U-S or the S-I-O-U-S, even though they sound the same. Then we've got electrician, electrician, and electrician. Again, we've got the shun at the end, but we know it's C-I-A-N. Then you've got grammatical, grammatical, grammatical. Again, they all sound the same, but we need the T-I-C-A-L. So, C-A-L at the end. Then you've got performance with an A-N-C-E, performance with an E-N-C-E, or performance with an U-N-C-E. Again, the same sound, but the correct spelling will be the A-N-C-E, for months. Then you have intelligence with an A-N-C-E, intelligence with a U-N-C-E, intelligence with a G-E-N-C-E. So again, we know it's the E-N-C-E is what we want at the end. And we just follow the same sort of trend for this. So we've got allowance, allowance, or allowance is the A-N-C-E ending we want. Influence, we want the E-N-C-E ending. And beautician, it should be the C-I-A-N at the end. So it just gives you, even though they sound right, we need to know which one is the correct spelling on here. So we're going to look at this text here, and there's mistakes in these, and I want you to actually help me find those. So unmute yourself and please join in. So in the first sentence, communities, so clean communities can only happen when individuals make a conscious choice to do the right thing and put their rubbish in the bin or take it with them where there is no bin available. So on here, there's a spelling mistake. Which one?
Conscious.
Yeah, what do you think it should be?
Oh, C-O-N-S-I-O.
U-S. Yes, that's right. C-O-N-I-O-U-S. Yes, it should be an I-O-U-S. Let me see if I can write it out properly because it always makes it. It should have that ending at it, I-O-U-S. I'm terrible with writing with this tool. So the next one, the appearance of our parks and public places play a big part of what makes our region a wonderful place to live. And we all have an influence on them. So which one is wrong here?
Appearance.
Yeah, and what's wrong? How would we fix that?
With E.
Yeah, it'll be an E instead. So that's terrible either. So yeah, if it was an A-N-C-E, it'll be an E-N-C-E. And then the last one, it's so, why not register for a cleanup in your local area? I urge you to become part of the solution by getting involved in making your community a better, cleaner, healthier place. What's wrong?
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes?
The S is not supposed to be capital.
Okay, so you think that. So if somebody else wanted to say something as well?
No, the previous sentence, appearance, is as well wrong. It should be A-double.
Oh yes, even I didn't notice that. Thank you. Well done. Yeah.
A, letter A.
See, even I skipped over that. So yeah, well done, thank you. So think about the sentence. Does it's so? Why not make a
Supposed to
sense?
be if so.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That shouldn't, if there's an it's in front of it, there shouldn't be a capital, that should be non-capital. But does this make sense here? So I'll read it in two ways. It's so why not register for a clean-up in your local area? Or I'll cut this out and I'll read, so why not register for a clean-up in your local area? What makes better sense? With it or without it?
Without.
Yeah, without it. Because if we had it's, then yeah, you're perfectly right when you say there should be no capital letter here at all. You're 100% right. But when we listen to the sentence by putting it in, it's so why not register for a clean-up in your local area? I'm finding that difficult to say. It's so, it takes your breath away because it doesn't make sense. But if you do, so why not register for a clean-up in your local area? It gives you a natural breathing space here without that there. So yeah. Fantastic. Oh, very well done for noticing that. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so spelling with unstressed vowels. So now these words, they can actually be a little bit difficult to spell because you don't hear the sounds. Now, if you've got young children as well, you'll probably end up you'll hear them when they're spelling things for you. They'll spell it how they hear it. And this is what we do as well. Sometimes we'll forget things or we'll just spell how we hear. Now, when we're going to do certain words, we forget to put in the unstressed vowels, and we can also call them the silent, the hidden vowels inside them. So if we're going to spell difference, D-I-F-F-E-R-E-N-C-E, we don't hear the E here, we just hear difference. So if we cut that E out now, if we were to cut that out, we would just go difference, that's what we hear. The E is silent, it's unstressed, but it has to, if we just did D-I-F-F-R-E-N-C-E, it's the incorrect spelling, so you need to have that E-R-E-N-C-E into it. So business, you don't actually hear the I. If you were to hear it, it would be busyness, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be business because you're changing that into busyness. But it's an unstressed vowel. It's in there for the correct spelling. We need it to be there. So it's business. Jewelry. We don't hear the E here. If we did hear it, we would go jewellery. And it doesn't make sense if we go jewellery. So it's unstressed. It's more or less it's a sound that's there. Hi, Anna. I know you've joined. Can you hear me? Fantastic. So we've got jewellery. That doesn't make sense, but it's an unstressed vowel, so it's there to make the correct spelling, but it has to be jewellery. No problem, Anna. That's fine. So all vowels, these are vowels that can't be heard, and there's lots of these unstressed vowels. So it's good to make a list of them if you can find, especially ones that you find a little bit tricky. Now, for a long time, business, every single time I spell it, I have to automatically make sure that I put the I in, because I used to go B-U-S-N-E-S-S because you don't hear the I with that. So it's one of the words that I still work on whenever I'm spelling it. I'll make sure that I go busyness when I'm spelling. So again, there's lots of words. Some of these words will often end in A-R-Y, E-R-Y, O-R-Y, or R-E-N-C-E, as you can see here. And then also have an E-N on with that, so on patterns.
Pomóc ci, czy sama umiesz?
No na razie pani tu gada.
O, ty przez
I've got a little bit of a noise background. If you can mute yourself, please. Thank you. There you go. It finally changed. So we've got other issues now. We can get silent letters as well, or we can get some sounds that are seen in a different way, but they're pronounced in different ways. So let's go on the silent letters first. You got B. So when you do crumb, lamb, rain, you don't crumb and lamb. You don't actually hear the B in it. You don't go crumb, lamb. You know the B is silent in that. Then you got the G. You got resign or rain. The G is silent. You don't go resigne or reign because it will change it. It's just a silent one in there. Then you got the hour for the H. So the H in hour. You normally say O-U-R for hour. The hour is this. But we have the H in there. That's a silent. Then you got honest and you got condemn. You got autumn and condemn for N. For P is psychology. You actually start off with the S here. You don't start off with the psychology, do you? You say the psi here. We don't go per psi, so the P is silent. Then you got pneumonia. We don't go per pneumonia, pneumonia. We just start from here, so the P is silent. Then you got the silent S, so you got island. We don't say island. Debris. We don't say debris. Then you got the silent U, we say guide. We don't go guide or guide. We don't do that. Or we don't go guata because we have this silent. Then you got the W. So answer. We don't go answer and we don't go sword. We go answer and sword. So these are the silent ones in there. Now, you don't actually hear them when you say the word, but they're there for your spelling. There. Then you got the A or the I or the I. So there's no reliable rule for this I here. So you got the deceit, or you got siege, you got conceive, you got relieve. With these ones, you just need to know which one is the right spelling. It's trial and error. As you go along, you'll know what it is. So deceit is EI will come first. Siege will be IE. Conceive is EI and relieve is IE. So again, it's trial and error. There's no particular rule on how these are spelled. There's no way to actually teach you to say this is if it's before the S or before the T or before the C. There's no type of rule there. You just learn them as you go along, which one is the right IE or the EI to spell. Now, the GH at the end of a word or in the middle of a word can actually be silent, or it can be pronounced as well. So you can go hi. There's no GH sound, so it's just hi. You got rough. Instead of the GH sound, or rug, you got rough. You got the f sound. So you got cough, which is the f sound. You got tough, which is the f sound, and laugh, which is the f sound. Then you got a thigh, which is silent. So the GH, you don't hear that. All you hear is the THI. And although GH is silent, because all we hear is the ALTHOU, although. And then a few commonly misspelled words here. When we do accommodate, sometimes when we're spelling them, we only do one C and one M. We've got to double the C and double the M. We've got millennium or millennial. You've got to double the L in these and double the N, which is, I've seen these mistakes happening on a daily basis. So it's very easy to do. You've got amateur. So it's a French word. It's tricky, but EU is what we need in that. Misspell, we need to double the S and just so on. So I'm not going to put every single thing on here, but we'll just pick out a few. We've got embarrassment. So it should be double R and double S. So where we've put down the S's, the red letters, highlighted in red, that means it's spelled wrong. Now, questionnaire is one that is really spelled wrong. We always forget to double the N and put the A-I-R-E at the end with that. You normally do Q-U-E-S-T-I-O-N-A-I-R. That's how I've seen a lot of the spellings on these. Privilege is another one. A lot of people put ledge into it, L-E-D-G-E, and change it into privilege. And there. Now, these ones are difficult to understand which one you're actually using in the letters in what you're doing. But there and there, it's meant to be T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. So it depends on which one you're using and what concept you're using in. But again, it's very easy to misspell things. As long as you look at it and you identify what you're misspelling, you can work on with that. So, if you unmute yourselves, we're going to ask you a quiz now. There's 4 questions, and I'd like to have a go at this. So, which is the correct spelling, A, B, C, or D, for hyperactive?
D.
D. Yeah, does everybody agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic, that's right, you are correct. So hyperactive, A-C-T-I-V-E. So which is the correct spelling? Infrastructure is the word. So A, B, C, or D. So infrastructure.
A.
C.
A.
A.
So I've got 1 C and I've got 3 A's, 4 A's. Yep, A is correct because if you look here, when I'm saying it, I go infrastructure. If I say these, now this one is correct. Now if I was to go, and this changes the word, it goes infrastructure, or infrastructure, or infrastructure. So it's very easily done, but it really just changes the word completely. So yeah, infrastructure. So infrastructure. So well done. Then again, for untypical, is it A, B, C, or D?
D.
Yeah, well done, untypical, yeah. Because the first one will be untypical, the second is untypical, the third one is untypical, and then the last one is untypical, yeah. And then the last one here, which is the correct spelling for abominable? A, B, C, or D? So abominable.
Z.
Yep. Anybody else for D? Or any others?
D.
So I've got 2 votes for D. Does everybody agree with that, or do you think there's a different one?
A.
No, I was tricking you. It's true, it is D. That's right. But I just wanted to make sure you were all on the same page. Yes, abominable.
Czyli takie, nie wiem.
Because if we do this, it's correct. Abominable. So if we go this, so this is correct, D. If we go A, it's abominable. It doesn't go nabble, it goes nibble. Second one is abominable, so it spells it wrong. Third one is abominable, but the last one is abominable. It's hard to say after a while, isn't it?
Okay.
Abominable. Abominable.
Abominable, yeah.
Abominable.
So ABLE is what we want it to end with. So that's fantastic. You should hopefully be aware of what homophones are now. So again, a quick recap. Homophones are those words that sound the same, but they've got different meanings, like sun and sun, and so on with that. Things like some and some, like some, the sum of this equation is X, Y, and Z, and I would like some sweets. So same sound but different meanings. You know how prefixes work? They come at the beginning of a word and they can change it from like honest to dishonest, behave to misbehave. And if you add an ED at the end of it, it'll change from misbehaved. Yeah. Then you'll know how suffixes work. So how to add endings on to change things like move to movement, tooth to toothless, gill to gills, and so on. You should hopefully not be able to make any errors that will affect the meaning of the word, because sometimes misspelling it or adding something else in it will change the word completely. Like we saw an example earlier where they showed the word tap, and then they showed how to do that. So if we go tapping, that's tapping. But if we go tapping, it's taping. So either you're taping something on your video recorder or you've got sellotape and you're taping a present. So it really changes the word. Just not having enough P's in there, it's really changed the word. So those type of errors that can change the meaning of a word. And you'll also be able to look at a selection of misspelled words and work on those and know how to correct those. So well done. We've done our spelling section here. Now I do have a bit of homework for you again. So every piece of homework that I give you is actually working towards your test. So everything that you're sending in to me and I'm giving you feedback on is aimed for you to have a nice, smooth testing system. So when you go in to do your tests, you're going to be a lot more relaxed because you'll know exactly what you're doing. So I really appreciate for everybody that's taken the time and effort to do this work. So thank you, and you are doing amazing work. I'm really proud of what you're sending in.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
You should be. Seriously, it's fantastic what you're all doing. It's amazing work. And then it helps me to identify if there's any areas that you need to work on, and I can give you feedback on that. Like yesterday, there weren't many of you here, but we talked about how to go from a 2 mark to a 4 mark, and we'll recap that in next week's English reading lesson, if you like, just to give you an idea of what to do. But for this lesson now, we're just going to look at prefixes on here, how to use them. So we've got some prefixes on here, just an array of them. So what the prefix is, what it means, and what the example is. And we're going to go down. So we've got prefixes and root words there. Got a little activity here. Tell me which one is misspelled. Now, you've got 2 spellings, transcription and transcription, and then you've got the meaning of what that means. So I just want you to either, on this document, type out which is the correct one, or highlight it. So if you're doing it on Word, or if you're printing out, use a highlighter and just highlight the correct one. So superficial or superficial, autobiography or autobiography, hyperextend or hyperextend. Now, if you're not 100% sure, now these words are words that you're probably not going to come across on a daily basis. So some words you might not be too familiar with. So Google it, just double check, see what you do. First, see what you think, and then you can double check it as well. So just a list there. And then I want you to use a dictionary, or if you don't have a dictionary, go on the internet and just find out what the meaning of these words are. And I'm just going to give you an example of what I mean, so you're not having to get my typed version up. There. So let me see. Find my document I was looking at. Okay, so what I'm looking for are simple words. I don't want big sentences. I just want a nice simple word, because this is what they'll want in the test. So circum means around. So just one word there. So if I was to go on to, for example, micro, we've already gone through this one today, so it's not like I'm telling you something that you don't know, but micro means very small, or you can write down small. So I'll accept either. So just a nice couple of words telling me what these actually mean. So go on the internet, open the dictionary if you have one, and do it from there. And then that's it. It's a nice simple one. You've not got a lot of reading for this one. We've left those for yesterday's. So if